All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. And salutations to you, brothers, you confusion of faith brothers all across the planet. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Barakatham to the hopeful elect and the sincere listeners. And Esau, man. Esau can't lie no more, man. This is an article out of the Daily Mail. All humans have same ancestors. Every man and woman was spawned from a single couple living up to 200,000 years ago, scientists claim. All right, now I'm gonna lower the verses because I just went to Genesis 8. So this is just a couple of bullet points. Genetic barcodes of 5 million animals from different species were surveyed. The research deduced that humans and animals sprang from a single pair, which I don't really get the wording of that. They could be going off. This happened after a catastrophic event a long time after the last ice age. Now here's what I believe, okay? And this could be perceived as crazy, but I believe that there was no ice age. I believe that the reason why they said that we had an ice age is to explain why there's water covering all the earth. You know, because in the Bible never spoke on an ice age. I feel like that's one of Esau's many fucking lies. Really, the whole earth at one point was covered entirely in water. But they don't want to say that. I mean, the so-called white man isn't going to acknowledge the flood of the earth, so he's just going to say, hey, at one time everything was covered in ice, or whatever the case is. All modern humans descended from a solitary pair who lived 100,000 to 200 years ago, scientists say. Now, if you can remember, they say, the so-called white man says that humans come from monkeys, first of all. Not only that, he says that humans have been here for millions of years. You know what I mean? They've been here for a while. Now all of a sudden, the truth coming out, man. Because Esau running out of lies, and he's running out of resources. Quite honestly, let's see. It says that a catastrophic event almost wiped out the human race. And that catastrophic event was the flood. You know what I mean? Okay. So the two scientists, right, who headed the study concluded that 90% of all animal species alive today come from parents that all began giving birth at roughly the same time. So this describes also when the animals came off the ark, right? When the animals were released, onto the dry land, they started to reproduce. So basically, Esau is confirming that. Less than 250,000 years ago, throwing into doubt the patterns of human evolution. Because remember, through Darwinism, Darwin's bugged out ass, and he was an Edomite, but through his teachings, he taught that certain animals evolved and turned into other things, and that humans came from monkeys, and over the course of millions of years, we turned into human beings, which that's not true. If anybody's the monkey, it is Esau. Esau, Edom, aka the so-called white man. I don't want to hear nothing else. They're dirty. They stink. Every time I go into a closed space, man, I always smell goddamn Edomites, man. You Edomites, you Moabites, you Elamites too. Y'all be stinking. You know what I mean? And we just getting tired of the heathens, man. That's why the Most High is putting a spirit on these men to start bringing out the truth, man. Because I mean, how long you gonna lie about the Ice Age and all this other shit, man? You can't keep lying. This is what made me laugh when I read it earlier. This conclusion is very surprising, Thaler admitted, as I fought against it as hard as I could. So Esau was trying as hard as he could to disprove the Bible, because the thing about it is Esau always wants to turn to science. But science is comes from the Most High, first of all. They've just decided that they know what the fuck they're talking about. So they just say it in the name of science, when really, if you would have turned to the scriptures, the Most High was telling you how this shit went down. Anyways, Noah and his family got into the ark. All the animals got into the ark. They waited. It rained and rained and rained and rained. The whole earth got covered in water. Days and days and days went past. The land dried. And these people are the people that started life over again here. Because everybody else died, and we come from Shem, so-called white. The so-called white man comes from Shem. The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American comes from Shem. But the difference is, the blessings start to come into place through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, aka Israel, which is where these 12 tribes come from. So everything in the Bible is chronicalized, and there's really no going up against it. Ain't no challenging the Bible. And that's what they're starting to realize. He said, I fought against it as hard as I could. And look at this. The new report from experts at Rockefeller University, and you already know how Rockefeller get down. Esau's a smart man. So, the smartest Edomites at the Rockefeller University, along with the University of Basel, published the extraordinary findings in human evolution. And they always acting like they done figured this out, man. They read the scriptures, and all they did was talk about the scriptures. They didn't figure out anything. Esau always trying to act like he's so goddamn smart, man. Here come some goddamn demons. Speaking of Esau, Edom. They mine big data insights from the world's fast-growing genetic databases and reviewed a large literature in evolutionary theory, including Darwin. So, like you remember when you were a kid in school, they would teach you that Darwin sat on an island or something of the sort, and he was looking at animals and birds, and he was wondering how they developed into birds, and it really is just some bugged out bullshit, man. That Darwin shit is played out. And it says, at a time when humans place so much emphasis on individual and group differences, maybe we should spend more time on the ways in which we resemble one another in the rest of the animal kingdom. But you see, a lizard is not related to a human. A fish is not related to a human. Genetically, that is not possible, because man, first of all, the Israelite man was made from the dust of the ground. So where does a fish fit into that calculation? And that's where the so-called white man went wrong. Is his lies piled up so much that he just couldn't. Like, his lies piled up so much that it's getting to the point he can't really lie no more. The conclusions throw up considerable mystery as to why the need for human life to start again was needed. And here go Esau questioning why the flood occurred, man. He always asking goddamn questions, and he always asking like he always acting like he know every goddamn thing, man. Why the need for human life to start again was needed such a relatively short time ago, especially since the last known extinction we know of was during the time of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. And that's not true, man. Them dinosaurs did not live 65 million years ago. I mean, goddamn, Esau. You really gonna say that dinosaurs was here 65 million years ago? That's a long ass time. But then again, the so-called white man says that the earth is, over 4 billion years old. He's such a fucking bug out, and he's such a liar, man. He's just full of shit. Like, 65 million years ago. This opens up the possibility of an inbuilt human evolutionary process wherein we break down and die out, leaving the need to start from scratch. So essentially, that's what the Lord did. The Lord said, look, these niggas are not reverencing me in a way in which I want. So I'm going to kill all of them, and I'm going to start over. That's all he did. He just started all over. It's like he's the owner of a restaurant, and he fired the whole staff. but he only kept a couple of other staff members. You know, because really Noah at the time, Noah was he was a prophet, and that's another thing that that they don't tell you that they don't tell you is that Noah was a prophet. Noah prophesied, and that was his expertise. That was his job. You know what I'm saying? And yet they painted him as crazy. You know, they used to make fun of him and mock him and say, "Oh, we're drowning, we're drowning." You know, and they would point and laugh. But you know, who got the last laugh? Who got the last laugh? Ultimately, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and Noah and his family, man. And I'm not gonna read this right here. This is just a bunch of bugged out bullshit. All right. So that article is over. You know, but hey, man, death to Esau for this lion, man. And every single time he opens his mouth, he speaks a lie. He said that dinosaurs roamed the earth 65 million years ago. Now, how the fuck is that possible if the earth is not even that old? The earth ain't no 65 million years old. Any motherfucker with half of a brain would know that. But there go Esau, man. Esau always lying. Let's see here. All right, this is Genesis chapter 8, verse 5. Salakia. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. So at that point in time, God still had the whole earth covered in water at that point. And that's what they're describing, that you could see the tops of the mountains. So imagine that there's so much water that your average mountain is covered. You know what I mean? That's a lot of water. That's a very big body of water. So that's why they have to say, that's why the white man so-called white man has to lie and say that there was an ice age, because he don't want to admit that every single mountaintop was covered in water. You could go anywhere on the earth, and at one point that shit was covered in water. Not literally, nothing was not covered in water at one point. Verse 6, and it came to pass at the end of the 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he made, and he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. So at that point in time, he sent out the dove in order to land on something, in order to land on dry land. But the dove came right back. So he was like, shit, this place is still covered in water, because the dove didn't have any place to rest its feet. Verse 10, and he stayed yet other 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark, and the dove came into him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. So he sent him again, and the dove came back with a piece of an olive branch. Now that's symbolism too. That's the Most High, because who's the olive branch? Olive branch is Israel. Now at that point in time, Noah didn't know that his son Shem would bring forth the great nation Israel. But low key, that dove bringing back that olive branch represents us in a way, us being brought back and being brought into our full our full glory. You know, because at the time, I mean, everybody was flooded, everybody was drowned out. You know, so that dove bringing back that olive piece is really a semblance of hope. You know what I mean? Because I have a feeling that Noah probably knew he was going to live, but his family probably thought they were going to die. But they persevered, man. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and look, And behold, the face of the ground was dry. So at that point, Most High God, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, was drying out the earth. And in the second month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried. And Yahweh spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy son's wife with thee. Verse 17, Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. Now, if you remember the article that we just read, they're saying that every single animal comes from an original pair of animals, right? Essentially, because there was a catastrophic event, right? The flood, that made it so that all these animals are produced again. So the scientists are telling the truth. Really, they don't have a fucking choice. Because just like the spirit was put on them to reveal this truth, the spirit was put on those animals to get into the ark. Do you really think that Noah corralled all those animals into the ark? No, that he prayed to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for these animals to go into the ark, and pair by pair, every creeping thing went into the ark. That so first off, the all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai for that. Not just Noah. You don't just praise Noah, praise the Most High, because he is what made all those animals go into the ark. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be sitting here eating beef, chicken, anything. Really, we wouldn't be eating anything. We wouldn't even be here, because that would have meant that Noah and his family didn't make it. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord. So he knew the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And it says, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. So he was thanking the Most High for saving him, because he knew that his power did these things, just like he was prophesying before the flood. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor, and the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing as I have done. So the first time the Lord killed the most of the earth, it was through water. The next time he destroys the earth, it will be through fire. So his promise to never flood the earth was fulfilled. Have we ever been flooded? No. The next time everything goes south, it'll be because of nuclear missiles. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. And Yahweh blessed Noah and his sons. Did he mention the wives? For all you goddamn people always bringing up the women in the Bible, they're all secondary characters, man. Let me read that again. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9, verse 1. And Yahweh blessed Noah and his sons. He didn't speak about any damn wives. All right, the wives were cooking, cleaning, doing their duty. It was just another day, man. All right. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So this is when the people, all right, Shem, Ham, and I can't remember the other brother, they start to repopulate the earth. And these are the people that you have on the earth today. And it says, and the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. So at that point, they could ride certain animals. They were using certain animals to hunt. In fact, the first hunters, right? Really, some of the first hunters had dominion over the animals. They could talk to the dog. And in essence, the dog would listen, much like now. We barely have control of the animals today. But back in those times, we had full reign and control. And it's going to be like that again in the kingdom. Your children are going to be able to play with lions, everything. This is verse 3. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. Now, remember, so-called white man wants to use that verse to say, oh, we can eat anything, you know, because it says every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. But you remember, he gave us laws. Later on he gave us laws. You know what I mean? And the laws really have always applied to us. You know what I mean? The laws have always applied to Israel. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to eat pork, period. You know? You're not supposed to eat a handful of things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. Salakia, and that's one of the reasons why Esau is Esau, because Esau is profane. He goes against the scriptures. That's why he gets his steak rare. That's why he eats, shit bloody, raw things, And the Lord called us to not do that. Verse 5, and surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, and at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Yahweh made he man. So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua made Israel, right? That's really the first man. Because with Israel came the blessing. It came basically everything that is of importance came from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So this is really when life began. Life began with Adam, of course, but really life began with Israel, because in order for you to live life, you got to have the laws. These people that you see walking around, these Edomites, they don't have a life. That's why they're dead. And these 2/3 Negroes that follow after, these 2/3 Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that follow after Esau, they're dead also. That's the congregation of the dead. Verse 7, and you be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein. And Yahweh spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, now once again, did Yahweh speak to any of the women? No, that's because these women lack understanding. It says, and behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you. And, goddamn Esau revving up his truck and shit, and I'm reading that. He's trying to be a badass. Anyways, establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you. And who is the seed after him? Who came from Shem? Abraham, right? Isaac, and lastly and most importantly, Jacob, aka Israel. And that's who we come from. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Verse 10, with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood. So at that point, he established the promise that he wouldn't flood us out. It says, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And Yahweh said, this is the token of the covenant which I made between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. And what's perpetual? That's like a continuation. So forever. After he made that promise, it's with us forever. Even you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans walking around today, the covenant is on you. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And so that bow is a rainbow. A rainbow is supposed to be it's a symbol. It's a symbol that this covenant was established that he wouldn't destroy us by water. Yet the LGBT community has adopted the rainbow and have perverted it. That's how you know also that Esau is the progenitor of wickedness. You know what I'm saying? He literally birthed wickedness. Because you got to think about it. LGBT community. Who came up with the idea for the flag? So-called white men. Because he knew that it's a special symbol. He knows that. But yeah, he wants to act like, oh, I don't know what y'all are talking about. And he fucking knows, man. And that's why these goddamn Edomites are going into slavery. And so is you heathens, right? You heathens are going into slavery because y'all really thought that the so-called white man had enough juice to take on Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, and that's not gonna happen. You know, y'all are going into slavery, and you know, Lord's will, I can personally put a chain around an Edomite's neck. We ready to ride on Esau's ass and these heathens. We ready to ride today. But you know, we have to wait for him. You know, we have to wait upon him. We have to wait upon the angels, wait upon Yahweh by Shem Yahushai through his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, in order to start this thing, man. Because I'm getting tired of these lies, man. They're killing our people every day, man, with these lies. These spiritual murderers, man. Verse 15, and I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the water shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, and I will remember the everlasting covenant between Yahweh and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And that don't include you goddamn heathens and Esau. Y'all try to sneak that in there, but we know better, man. The hopeful elect will not be fooled. You goddamn Edomites are going into slavery, and so are you heathens. Period. So when you look at a rainbow, you're supposed to remember the covenant. This is verse 17. And Yahweh said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, right? And Shem is who we come from. And Ham, right, which is you Hamites, and a lot of other people, and a lot of other people come from Ham also, but you Hamites, you Africans come from him. And Japheth, right, which is a lot of you Samoans, a lot of you what do you call it, Papua New Guineans, and a lot of you other dark-skinned people, right? And it says, and Ham is the father of Canaan, right? So you Canaanites were Africans. It says, these are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. So every single human being that lives on the earth today comes from those three sons, right? And it says, and Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. So a husbandman is somebody that deals with plants. It says, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward. And they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. So these guys right here, man, these guys are going to be slaves. And he said, blessed be the Lord power of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So all you goddamn Canaanites, right, which is essentially you Edomites, when you think about it, because Esau was popping a lot of them African chicks out there. You know what I mean? He was popping a lot of them. and it says here, man, blessed be the Lord power of Shem. He didn't say it for any of you other mother lovers, okay? He was specifically speaking to Shem, which in turn was speaking to Jacob, Israel, right? And it says, and Noah lived after the flood 350 years, because at that time the Lord was really working with them, man, and was allowing them to live for hundreds of years. You know, and it says, verse 29, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. So he almost lived to be 1,000 years old. You know, and in the kingdom, we're going to live forever, man. That 950 years is going to seem like it's nothing. But let's go back up to this part right here, and I'm going to end the video. It says, and Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. So really this isn't nakedness. right? I feel like Noah didn't really know certain things, and Shem and Japheth took a garment, right, which is that wisdom, and they laid it on both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. So they're telling their father, okay, this is how you do this, that's how you do that, because in his old age he was probably not senile, but he didn't have the wisdom that he once had, so he needed his sons, Shem and Japheth. You know what I mean? And Japheth is gonna be a slave too. You know what I mean? But it was Shem and Japheth that talked to their father and was like, hey, listen, this is how we're going to do this. That's how we're going to do that. Right? So after Noah had awoken from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him, right? He said, cursed be to Canaan. Because Canaan never helped. Canaan from the get-go was a fuck nigga. Now Japheth, right? Japheth is a fuck nigga too. But at that moment in time, he was serving his purpose. Right, but he's not Shem, which eventually went down to Jacob. He's not Israel, so he doesn't get the blessing. So he's going to be under slavery too. But Canaan from the get go, Noah did not fuck with Canaan because he knew, yeah, this guy right here, man, he's a he's a perverse person, right? And that's why he said that he'll be a servant unto all his brethren, because once again, Noah was a prophet. And Noah saw visions. You know what I mean? The Lord was speaking to Noah. So Noah already knew that Canaan, right? Canaan and Japheth essentially were going to serve Shem. That's why it said, blessed be the Lord, power of Shem. And it says, God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So you see that today. You see a lot of Japhethites around the place that Shemites are at, which essentially through Shem came Israel. And like I said, lived after the flood 350 years, and he died. Okay. And I'm going to read this right here, and then I'm going to end the video. This is Genesis chapter 10, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog, and Madai and Javan, and Tubal, and Mesesh, and Tirach. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, so you Ashkenazi Jews, and Riphath, and Togamath. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. And the sons of Ham, Cush, right, which is you Cushites, Mizraim, which I believe is you Egyptians, Put and Canaan, all right. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabat, and Sabta, and Ramah, and Sabtesha. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begot Nimrod, right? He began to be a mighty one in the earth. And if you remember the story of Nimrod, Nimrod married his mother, right? So he's wicked. And Noah knew that. Noah knew that from Cush, right? Noah knew that from Cush would Nimrod spring out of. He knew that. And it says, he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, and in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, right? And if you remember, Nineveh got destroyed. So the Lord already set up everything in the spirit, man. Let's see. And it just goes into everything. It just goes into everybody's families, man. And it just brings it out that these Hamites and all these other people, anybody that's not the 12 tribes of Israel, is going to serve under complete subjection, man. So Esau's bringing out the truth in all his articles, man. So the truth is being revealed every single day, man. And all praises to the Most High God, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Pay close attention to what the so-called white man says, man, because as he brings out these truths, You know, it's apparent, man. He just brings out these truths, man, and it's just, it's crazy. I'm gonna end it with this, man. Okay, this is so-called white man right here. This is Psalms chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. So as soon as Esau and these heathen nations are born, you know, they're already slaves. They just don't know it yet. And it says they go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. And a lot of these lies are, I mean, the lies go on and on and on. Ice Age, that's one. God having sex with Mary to make Jesus, that's one. This Gregorian calendar that we're under, the months, that's a lie. The times that we're in, that's a lie. All these cycles that we have, those are all lies. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if Esau lies about some of the lunar cycles, because he'll say that, oh, a crescent moon is coming on this day. You look in the sky, and it's a new moon. So he don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. So you got to base the times off of yourself, man, because that new moon is a Sabbath, you know, and every month, you know what I mean, is that new moon. And so the Esau lied. What does he say? Sunday is the Sabbath. So watch out for his lies, man, and know that he lies from the womb. He lies as soon as he comes out. As soon as he comes out the womb, he's lying, man. So hopefully that was edifying, man. Call halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Death to Esau. Death to these heathens. All right. Hopefully that was edifying until the 1/3 and the 144,000. Until I make another video, man. I just want to say shalom to the hopeful elect.